I've always wondered what makes a ship in Azur an ultra rare rarity. In fact, I've been curious how Manchu determines the rarity for a ship. Is it the history achievements, armaments, or perhaps something else? Because I refuse to believe they just throw the rarity away. Let's start with the obvious one, Enterprise. She easily deserves the UR rarity. Yes, she's got a retrofit in line, and yes, that could be the reason why she's an SR, but it's very unclear if the UR rarity was planned in the early days. But if she would get released in today's time, I highly doubt that she would be an SR. And when you compare Enterprise to every available URs in game, she easily beats everyone else apart from New Jersey, history achievement wise. But what exactly are the requirements for a UR rarity other than great achievements? From what I can see, if you don't count history, is the armaments, size, ship type, and what class is from determines the rarity. Prime example, Shinano. We all know what her fate was. But let's talk about what makes her UR rarity. Of course, Shinano's partially complete hull was ordered to be converted to an aircraft carrier after Japan's loss in Midway. But apart from not having the 46cm gun, she didn't actually have the same armor as both Yamato and Musashi, which is pretty understandable as she was built few years later when Japan suffered big losses. However, this meant that improvements could be made in other areas, including added protection for fire control and lookout positions. Other than that, Shinano didn't really have anything else. It's just a bigger version of Taiho that also carried kamikaze planes. Also, did you know 5 Yamatos were originally planned? Anyways, I wouldn't go on to confirm, but it does seem that ship class does somewhat boost the rarity chance. The only problem with this theory is that there are some ships that are actually worse rarity than their sisters. For example, Black Prince and the Yorktown Girls. Apart from Enterprise, of course. And the only excuse you can use for this is that they were in the early games when UR rarity really didn't exist. But let's move on from armaments and size to ship type. Is it coincidental that all 3 large cruisers are UR/DR? No, because they deserved it. Not only do they have somewhat unique armor, they have unique armaments as well. Or guns. So, does ship type have an influence on ship rarity? I mean, we've got monitor ships and munition ships, so not exactly. It does give some little boost, but not huge amounts. However, if a ship has, for example, a minigun that shoots missiles, it's guaranteed UR. Even if she sank 5 seconds after getting launched, that girl's an easy UR, because it's got a unique armament. But to answer the question of what determines a ship rarity, well, it's confusing, but I'd say 5% ship size and class, 10 to 40% of the ship history, and the rest are on the armaments.